Hi Jarrett. So I figured that making a small tutorial might help you figure out Ableton a little better, so I'm just gonna open it up and start from scratch and show you how I would make a drum loop. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, Ableton is really complicated though, so I don't blame you at all for wanting some help. It's really daunting to try and figure out on your own. So first of all, I press this and it takes you into this different view, and this is just easier for me, so this is what I always do. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Instruments tab. It's already selected. You're going to want to drag the drum rack over onto a MIDI track, and then you'll see this appear. So then I'll go into Impulse, and we can listen to some different drums. I'll just grab a random one, and you drag it, you click on it, drag it, and drop it, and now you have this is a whole drum rack. So you can use your keyboard to as like a kind of a MIDI controller to play each sound. And if you do that and it doesn't do anything, you can, this little icon up here, that's how you turn off the keyboard, but as long as it's yellow, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag, well here. I'm just going to double click on here, and then it'll show us this little menu right here, and these are all of your drums. So what we're going to want to do is use your keyboard to find, say this tom is fine, right? So click on this draw tool, and when you come down here, you can draw a drum, and this should be in a 4/4 time. So, I drew like 4 of those toms, and now we can click it and it'll, so yeah, and then but then you can you can add some different ones, just to try out, see what it would sound like. And let's see, you can see what that sounds like. I mean, it doesn't sound great, but that's just to show you how you would do it. And say you wanted to extend this, and I would click on this and drag it over, and give myself about twice as much room to work with. And then let's see, down here, this will show us the whole clip. See, like it'll zoom in and zoom out. So yeah, this'll make it a little easier too. So I'm just gonna redraw these, and then I'm gonna draw one of each. And then you see how this section is a little darker than it is over here. That's because this is only 4 beats long, so if you extend it out, you'll see the rest of them there. And then you have essentially 8 beats here, and this shows you the tempo right up here, 120. So it should go at 120 beats per minute. But yeah, so, and then once you've got that done, come up here to this little loop thing, and you can drag it over and resize it to the same size as your clip. And then you'll want to come up here and click this, because that will make it loop. I'll show you. So once you have it playing, it'll just loop back and forth continuously. So you can mess with it and just have to see how it would sound. Because it's kind of hard to get a good feel for whether it sounds good or not, just like stopping and playing it over. So that's what I'll do usually to make a drum loop. Let's see. Yeah, I probably won't spend a ton of time trying to make this sound like really good, because I just wanted to show you you know, the basic stuff that I would do. But yeah, so say this is our drum loop, and then what you can do, as long as this little thing that says loop is highlighted like this, because you can turn it off, as long as it's highlighted, when you drag this over, it'll just duplicate that loop that you just made as many times, you know, as you want. And see, this would be like at 8, that would be like, you know, 8 measures, I think. And then, you know, up to 17, because that would be 16. So you've got 16 now. Turn this off. It'll just play through. So that's essentially how you make a really basic drum loop. And let's see. So then, after I've made my drum loop, I would go back over to the instruments section, and I would open up the instrument rack and see like I'll just click on bass, you know, because we'll just throw some bass in there too. And then I'll drag and drop it on another MIDI clip. If you drag and drop one of these instruments on the audio, it won't work. So that's what I would do. And then I'll do the same thing here though. I'll double click and a MIDI clip will appear. And then you know, I won't make it twice as long as I did with the drum loop, but here this will just be 4 long and it'll repeat. So again, this drawing tool is handy because you can just draw notes in wherever you want. And I'll do something really basic like this. And I guess check and see how it sounds. I mean, that sounds okay. Doesn't sound too bad. And then you know, you can drag and drop it just like that. So then there you have 16 measures, and then just let it play all the way through. And then maybe what I would do, I don't know, they've got audio effects, so I'll go into the audio effect rack and I'll select amp simulation, and all of these are like guitar amps, but you can play pretty much anything through them. So you click and drag and drop it, or I would, and you can use this for any of the audio effects. So these are a ton of different stuff, like you could throw some chorus on it too, just to, you know, make it sound funny, I guess. So then I'll loop it again though, just to mess with it while I'm listening to it. Yeah, and I mean, that sounds like okay. So, and then I'll show you, let's see, I'll take another, first of all though, before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to insert another MIDI track. Like, just go down to this gray area and right click, and you'll see insert MIDI track. So now I've got another one. I'm going to drag it up here, so it's right next to the rest of my MIDI stuff. And I'll do the same thing. I'll double click, and I've got a clip right here, right? So then let's see, then I'm going to go to my instruments, and I'll pick the pad, you know, and you can just click on these and it'll give you a sample of each one. So this one sounds fine just for demonstration. So then, and now you can, with your keyboard, you can like kind of play with it, you know. So I mean, you know, it sounds interesting. So and then I'll double click on, or I'll click back on the clip, double click the clip, and it'll take you back to this section where you can draw in notes. So, you know, I'll just do the same thing. I'll just draw some random notes in C major or A minor, you know. So then I'll do that, and then I'll just see, I'll duplicate it a bunch of times. So then I've got a synth and some bass. See how it is. And if you wanted to mess with the way it sounds, like, because you can kind of tweak all the settings as you go, I'll just click back on this where it says 3 Dojo Sky. I'll click on that and it'll take me back to this. So this will be looped. You can mess with the settings. And so I basically just showed you how to do that. So let's see if there's some other interesting things that you might find useful. Okay, so this little red thing right here, this is this will tell you which of these MIDI instruments are selected to play. So right now this one is selected, so the bass will play when I mess with my keyboard like that. But if I select this one, then that will be selected, you know. And the same goes for the drums, like. Okay, so there's that, and that's, you know, that's really useful to know when you these numbers too. So when you click this number and it's not highlighted anymore, if you play the clip, then the drums won't play, you know. But say I turn that back on and I turn this one off, then the drums will play and there will be no bass. So, and yeah, so that's something else that's really useful. Then this blue one right here is actually the volume of each track. So usually I'll lower the volume and just, you know, mess with the mix later, like lower it to -10 or whatever, you know, just so it's not like at full volume on each of these. That way you can you know, mess with the volume. And so yeah, I think that's really good to know. And then let's see. I think something else that's really useful to know is let's see. So you could right click the volume and it'll say show automation, right? So click show automation. Then deselect this, because this will just make it more difficult. You can draw in automation, but so this red bar is the automation. And so when you click the red bar, that's a little point appears, right? And then you could, if you make 2 points, like put one at the beginning and then later on grab that and drag it down. So that's showing that the volume is at 0, and as it plays the drums will come in, like the volume will get higher until it reaches this point. I'll just I'll turn these off and you can see it. And yeah, it's really there's still a lot of other stuff I could show you, but this is like the most basic stuff. And then I'll show you one more thing though, just because I think it's actually really helpful as well. So okay, well, I'll just press right here. I'll turn these back on, and let's see. So I'm going to activate, well here, I'll turn these off just to show you this. So now only the drum machine is selected, right? And I've got it playing, so I'm controlling it with my MIDI keyboard right now, which is just the keyboard from my computer, you know? So then I'll press record. Well, I'm going to select this first. This is like the tempo, right? So I'll just show you what that sounds like. Okay, so you can see that it gives you a little timer, right? So I'll click back here, and I'm going to press record, just the circle button. I'm sure you could figure that out, but so now it's recording, and now I can just you know, kind of try to make here, I'll just show you. And so yeah, this is really useful because when you're trying to, you know, like play stuff with your hands, and like, because I find it a lot easier than trying to write in notes and just guessing at, I mean, everything. When you use the little drawing tool instead, it's easier to get everything in timing, but you don't know how it sounds. You can't try out different melodies and stuff, so I find that really useful. But if I just want to kind of jam and see how it sounds, that's what I'll do. I'll press record and try to keep it in timing with this. And as long as this is 120 up here, this will go to the tempo you have set. So if I lower it down to 100, then this will do the same thing. And then you know, you can try to record that too. Okay, so then yeah, I've got this, and then on that, so I'll take a look at this, right? I'll zoom in on this, and I'll move my my loop thing over, and I can take a look. I can, you know, zoom it in on a part that I want to look at, right? So, and this down here will make this section, you can zoom in like that, so that, you know, and the loop thing, so it'll just play this right here, and you can experiment with it. And then what I'll do is I'll select the drawing tool, and once I have a clip that I think is in timing well enough, I'll just replace the notes, you know, and make sure everything is perfectly in time, so that it sounds, you know, sounds a little better. Because of course, it'll just be more in time when you draw it, you know. So yeah, I hope that this video helps you out a little bit. So yeah, have a good day, I suppose.